Do not eat too many ginkgo nuts, you're going to have a very bad time otherwise. Hi everyone, it's Tasha and welcome to another recipe video. And today we're going to be making Chuk. It's a Cantonese tong or sweet soup. Timestamps are down below in the description if you want to skip the initial blah blah, but stick around if you want to hear a little bit about what we're making first, especially about ginkgo nuts. I seem to pronounce them a little bit different every time I say them. This is a very simple Chinese sweet soup. You just need tofu skin sheets, specifically for making tong, barley, although I'm using a different kind of grain technically for this recipe, ginkgo nuts, and then water, and in my case I also like to add some evaporated milk to make it creamy. In some recipes you can buy a type of tofu sheet that dissolves when boiled in water, so you get a really creamy soy milk type base, and in other recipes you use a type that doesn't dissolve, which is what I'm using today. I can't actually find the type that dissolves in the UK, but if you can use that too. Now, ginkgo nuts. They are actually toxic. You'll be fine eating a normal amount of them, but don't stuff yourself all full of them, because you're going to have a rough time. If you look on the internet, the reports are a bit varying. Some people say 8 to 10 per day per adult, some people say 10 to 40. It seems to vary based on your own constitution, how many you can handle. Obviously for children, you should let them eat far fewer, because in the best case scenario, if you eat too many, you're going to have a bit of a time on the toilet, and in the worst case scenario, you could end up in hospital. There was a case of a 38-year-old woman in Hong Kong. She ate 50 to 60 ginkgo nuts apparently from a street hawker where they roasted them. You're not meant to eat that many, and she suffered from dizziness, stomach pain, nausea, and she did have to have a trip to the hospital. She was okay, just definitely regretted eating all those ginkgo nuts. So eat with restriction. Because I'm a chicken and I don't want to find out the hard way whether I can handle 10 or 40, I just stick to around 8 per day when I'm eating this sort of thing. They are delicious, they are very soft, the texture is a little bit like pine nuts, but they have a much milder, creamier flavour. When preparing ginkgo nuts though, you do have to remember to take the little green shoot, or in this case brown shoot because mine are pre-prepared a little bit, out from the centre. It's a really easy task to do, and the only reason why you want to do that is because they are quite bitter. Some people actually like the bitterness of them. I do not, so I just take a little time just digging those out. I am making this an overnight recipe because I like to bung the tofu sheets in the rice cooker to soak and boil overnight, and then the next day I just do the final hour of cooking the barley and the ginkgo nuts. But you can do it all in one day. And the reason why I don't put all the ingredients all in one go to cook overnight is because your barley or whatever grain you are using, in my case Job's or Job's Tears, they will go really mushy if you boil them for too long, and you want to have a chewy texture. Also, disclaimer, I may be a little unintelligible for the first half of the video because I was suffering a massive migraine, and I'd just come back from a good friend's wedding that night, and we'd actually come back early because I'm cat sitting. I need to feed the cat, so we hadn't drunk that much. It was still quite early, about 9 p.m, and as I was starting to make that first part of the recipe video, I could hear my words going, because one thing that happens to me in the hour or so before the migraine actually hits and I become completely in pain and unable to do anything is my brain gets scrambled. So if I'm texting someone, they'll get gobbledygook. If I'm talking, I won't make any sense. It's really interesting actually as well. It's not fun for me experiencing it, so I'll edit the video as best as I can so I am intelligible, but you might notice here and there I seem a little bit out of it, and that's as the migraine is slowly taking over my brain. So let's go to the kitchen and see how it's done. So I'm doing this the night before, and if my voice sounds a bit husky, it's because I was just at a wedding and I was shouting and yelling and cheering a lot. So yes, happy times. I also lost one of my fingernails because I use peel-off base coat. Other than that, let's get ahead of ourselves and soak some dried bean curd sheets. So here I have 170 grams of the stuff. Make sure it is specifically for desserts. As you can see, this one says it uses for sweet soup as suggested, which means yes, you're going to use these for tong trays. What I'm going to do, because they're quite big, is I'm going to crack it in half. Oh, that sounded very brutal. Split it open. And I'm going to put it in a big old bowl. As you can see, this stuff is very, very thin and it shatters quite easily, as I can demonstrate. Kind of like really thin parchment. Now I'm just going to fill this bowl full of water, just normal cold tap water. And we're just going to let it soak until it is puffy and pale. It usually takes 10 to 20 minutes, sometimes maybe up to half an hour, not that long. If it's jutting out of the bowl, then just shove it in. The reason why I don't break it up into small shards at this point is because it's actually a bit easier to drain. When it's in big sheets, it doesn't really matter. But after we soak it, we are actually going to shred it into small pieces, so you can do that first. But then you'll probably need a sieve to drain this old water, because we want to get some of those surface oils off first. So let me submerge these. So yes, just wait until these have soaked up some of the water, they become a bit plump and flexible, and they'll become quite pale as well, almost white but not quite, a creamy colour. Once it's all soaked and puffy, we're going to rinse this out and drain the water. And we're going to shred it and place it in a rice cooker bowl. And now I'm going to fill the pot, whoops, about 2 litres, just spilt some there. That's 2 litres of fresh water, just press down those air bubbles. Now I'm going to cook this in soup mode in the rice cooker, for 2 hours, but I'm actually going to set it 2 hours and then to leave it hot overnight because I'm doing the overnight method, but you can make this on the same day and just cook it out to 2 hours rather, and then carry on. I'm going to be doing slow cooking for 2 hours and then leaving it overnight because my rice cooker has a keep hot mode, so that's quite handy. Now I'm also going to soak some Job's tears overnight. This one's called barley, but it's actually not barley, it's a completely different grain. Barley is actually quite a bit smaller, and you can sometimes find it in Asian supermarkets as pudding barley. But this one is actually Job's or Job's tears, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. And I'm going to put 2 big handfuls in a bowl, and I'm going to fill this with water and let it soak overnight too. But if you're making it in the same day method, then you only really need to let this soak for 1 hour. It's the next day and I'm thankfully feeling much better. It wasn't a 2-dayer. I thought it might be because it was a really bad migraine. And before we deal with our tofu skins, I'm going to decore some ginkgo nuts. Now these I found in the refrigerated fruit section of my local Asian supermarket. This is an 80-gram packet and I'm going to use it all. Now how do I open these again? Yes, it's on this side. And that didn't open the packet at all. I hate it when that happens. It just cracked the surface. Okay, tell you what, since I need to use a knife anyway, I'm going to make a little dig. Be careful your fingers when you do this. There we go. I'm going to get 2 things to prepare here. A little bowl of water, because after I'm done with them, I'm just going to pop them in. And I'm also going to get a tissue, because what I'm going to do is take the little bitter sprouts from the inside out. So I'm going to slice one, just about halfway, not all the way through. And when you open it a bit, you can see on the inside there's a little sprout where it started to grow. So I'm going to take that out because it's quite bitter. There we go, you can see the little sprout. And that's it. And to wash away the extra bitterness, any residue, I'm just going to pop it in the water. And we're going to do this for all of these. And now I'm just simply going to pour this water out, give it another rinse with fresh water and then drain them again. I'm just going to use the nuts. Now this next bit's going to be shaky because there's nowhere to put my gooseneck clamp. The joys of a small London apartment. You know, we don't have that much money. We're lucky enough that we can rent in this city, it's crazy. So both my husband and I love cooking. So we have all of our ingredients here, and we also have literally 2 bookcases worth more of stuff and cupboards, because we're not going to sacrifice our love for cooking. Anyway, we just cancelled the overnight heating thing. Let's give this an open. And as you can see, we have some very soft, silky tofu skins that have broken up a bit more. So I'm going to mash this a bit because we want them even more broken up. Here I have some yellow rock sugar. You can just use caster sugar like normal white sugar, but I have loads of rock sugar at the moment. And since some of it is really big chunks and they're difficult to break up, so more difficult for me to use in other recipes when I need small amounts, I'm going to use that. And all you need to do is just add it to taste. And now we're going to add our ginkgo nuts, our barley or Job's tears, and we're also going to add about 1/3 of a can of evaporated milk, and this is going to make it very creamy. Because when you make this in Hong Kong or Malaysia, you can often get a tofu skin that actually breaks down back into kind of soy milk. But you can't actually find, at least I can't find that fresh stuff here in the UK. This is fine because there are two versions of Phu Chuk, as I mentioned. There's the kind that breaks down and there's the kind like this that doesn't, and both are used to make this kind of tong sui, the sweet soup. They're just two different versions but made in the exact same way, pretty much. We're going to cook this again just for 1 more hour, so I'm going to put this back on soup mode. Hang on, close this, choose the menu, soup, 1 hour, start. Oops. There we go, and we'll cook this for 1 more hour. And we are done. Please excuse the works going on in the background. Like I said, just give it another taste. If you need a little more sugar, add a little more sugar. If you want a little more condensed milk, evaporated milk, add a little more evaporated milk. But I think this is ready to serve. Gorgeous, well, not objectively, but in my eyes gorgeous. Cheers! Super creamy but not heavy, a little sweet, not too sweet. That is lovely and just what I need recovering from a migraine as well. So there you go, a super easy rice cooker Phu Chuk. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed today's recipe video and I hope you'll join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full written recipe on my blog tashcakes.com, follow me on Instagram on tashcakes.taste, and find me on TikTok too, on tashcakes there too, but my handle is food in slow motion. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more. Give this video a like if you'd like to help other people find it. Comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you all next time. Be good, be nice, and have a good week. By the way, no one told me hyacinths only bloom for about 3 days when the flowers open. That's really short-lived.